All right, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to DC Fine Art. So today we are going to be doing a ink, and we're working with the Faber Castell Pitt Artist pens, along with working with the Liquitex acrylic inks. So this ought to be a really fun one. We're going to be working on a fish. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, on Tuesdays I have live streams, so we just kind of either we experiment with different things, we do basically like different mediums, and we work with different mediums, and it's a way to kind of work on things. And if you're new to doing some of these mediums, maybe you can ask some questions, or if you guys need help with anything, then you can feel free to do that. If you're wanting to kind of follow along with me, I do have the line drawing over on my Patreon, and it's free for all members. So you can easily just go to the description below. You can become a free member and then go ahead and grab that line art. It's just, and I also have the reference photo too. It's from Pixabay. So that way you can get started if you're in a hurry and you don't feel like drawing it or doing your own tracing. Then you can just grab that and you can just work right along with me. Now, last live stream we worked on a mixed media where I used the acrylic inks again by Liquitex, and then I did a what was it? Oh, acrylic painting on top of it. So that's why it was mixed media. And I ended up taking a lot longer on that one. I told you guys that if I didn't have anybody comment that they wanted to go with a part 2 for the next one, that I was just going to put it for free for all members over on my Patreon, which, sorry about the train, which I did get that done today. And I just need to upload it over on Patreon. It's for free members. You guys can go check it out and just see how that painting came out. The other thing is that usually I like to finish up, or at least try to finish up in one go. At least I've been trying to get that way. I do work a little bit slower, so sometimes that just doesn't happen. And either I'll do a part 2 or I'll put it over on my Patreon. Now, as you can see, this room has totally changed from what it was before, and that's because I moved rooms. So I moved from my studio. I ended up moving into my daughter's room, and my daughter moved down to where my studio was, because her AC wasn't really working. So it got super, super hot in here, and I just wanted to go ahead and switch that to where she could have a nice cool room. Let's see here, I'm making sure that's okay. So that's why I went ahead and took her room. She took my room, and it is a much smaller room in here. So everything's a little bit different and kind of compiled, but still, nonetheless, I do like it. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this around. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. I keep on thinking my puppy dog's behind me, like wanting to come inside, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he's just chilling outside. I don't know. If he starts knocking, maybe I'll let him in. Let's go over to live work. Okay. So I've got right now this piece of paper here. This here, I'm just going to use this as basically a color chart. So if I'm wanting to use, like if I'm using some of my Pitt artist pens, and I should have done this like in a book to where I knew every color, what it looked like, but I never done it yet. It's on one of my to-do list. So I'll just use this or any colors that I'm wanting, make a little swatch right here just to kind of see what they look like. I'm going to cut it in half so that way I don't have to use this big old sheet of paper. I don't really need that much. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this in half. And it doesn't really, not really having to be too precise on this. That way I'm working with a much smaller piece instead of this big one. Now I haven't transferred my drawing yet. I needed to, but I haven't done that yet. Move that over here. And I figured I was like, well, I guess you guys can watch me do it all from scratch. Um, but there's one thing too. I was thinking about making a video, and this is off topic. Last week, it took me forever to do that painting, and I have used the the Fredrix watercolor canvas boards. I know that there's other artists who use it like all the time for acrylics, and so that's why I picked them up, because I really was like thinking, well, if they're that good, I'll get me quite a few of them. Well, I started to notice that even though you spray your paint or your water down on it, no matter how much you get it wet, it just seems to really, really absorb your water. And then you're having to spray and spray and spray. Whenever you work on a canvas, you don't have to spray as much. And then I noticed whenever I was doing the airbrushing with the ink, it was absorbing the ink like crazy. Like it was like a sponge. Like literally my ink, I didn't swash it around on the white. I shook these up. But it was like a full bottle, and it was all the way down to here. Like from here to there. That much ink in an airbrush going into that canvas to try and get it as dark as I could, or whatever, because it just soaked in, and then you could see this white of the canvas still showing through. And it's like a sponge. It just kept going. And I thought, you know what? That's wasting so much of my paints. And I was really not happy with that. Now, I know with my acrylic paints, the other artists that I heard, I listened to them. I haven't mentioned their name because, I don't like to do that. I don't like to just say things. People like what they like, okay? And I really do believe in a lot of things that she says, just because she's usually pretty much right on the money on everything. And I went ahead and used these for my acrylic paints. Now she says, well, just wait until they completely dry, varnish it, which I normally do with my canvases. So I did that with one of my other paintings, and literally it smudged. An acrylic painting, even though it's completely dry, been dry for like 3 days, and you varnish it and it smudges. So I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. Well, then I ended up, and it's not to say that the canvas is like a bad canvas. It's just, for some reason, it absorbs like a sponge. So you just have to be very, very careful, like really careful. Like I can take that ink, which is a permanent ink, put water over it with a brush and just kind of lightly like rub, and it reactivates that ink after 2 weeks of sitting there drying. That's crazy. So just a warning on those canvases. I was thinking about making a video for that. Just be careful with those. They're watercolor canvas boards, and they would work great for watercolor. Definitely get it wet, like the canvas board. Get it wet before you actually use that. But here we are using the Fredrix Mixed Media Canvas board. This one here, it says it accepts watercolor, acrylic, alcohol ink, airbrush, and other Aquarius-based media. It's 100% archival cotton artist canvas, especially formulated, acid-free gesso, rigid, non-warping hardboard core. Okay, so this here is an 8x10. So we're working just a little bit smaller, but that's okay. I wanted to see. I used this before because I have more of these, and I have used one for the watercolor pencils, and it did really good. I mean, didn't see no issues with it. So I really wanted to put it to the test. I need to get me a razor blade, otherwise I will not be able to get that open. Hold on. Oh, there it is. So I was really thinking, let's try this little fish, and let's use our inks. Let's use our Pitt artist pens, and let's see how this canvas board really does work. I mean, it's kind of like we're working on artwork. We are learning or even watching on how you use techniques with those Pitt artist pens, because I know there's some people out there that really want to see those Pitt artist pens and how to blend and how to use them. Well, we're about ready to advance it and see what it happens using actual canvas board, because it would be really nice to have it on something like this instead of just paper. This just makes it so much, hopefully it makes it nicer, but you never know. I'll be the one who does the trial and error. If it ends up not turning out that good, heck, at least I saved you guys from having to go out and buy something like this and then it not work out the way you were hoping. So I moved my trash can because my doggy was trying to get in there and I can't find it. Okay, just toss it there. It don't matter, just toss it. Well, that does. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to end up transferring my fish. Also, if you're kind of curious on these products and you're wanting to look them up, see pricings, or, you know, check these out, in the link or in the description below, I do have an affiliate link to Amazon, and I did list this, the stuff that I'm using today. I did list them over in the description below underneath of Amazon affiliates. So if you want to check those out, you're more than welcome to check them out. So, and also for my Patreons, I hate to say, I don't know if you guys got it or not, so that's why I don't want to say too much. But you guys are getting a surprise. Well, you guys always get it like a gift from me, whether it's a postcard, a bookmark. Sometimes I give you paper on to try out, like sample papers. If you are on the, I forgot which one it is. Which tier is that? It's like the, so this is $6.99 or something like that. It's like the next tier. It's not the first tier. First tier is $1.99 and you get all the videos. If you're on the next tier up from that, then you start getting like things given from me to you each month. And this month, I'm actually going to try out something that I gave you guys. So you might be excited. Or you might be like, oh no, I don't know if I like it. It'll be all right. I hope you guys like it. I put a lot of work into that. I was like, well, I mean, you don't have to like it. But, let me go ahead and get out my transfer paper. I usually keep it right here, but I keep a small one and a big one. Sometimes I use, hope this is a smaller one. Here it is. Yeah, good enough. All right, so let me go ahead and lay that underneath there. There's my little fish. And I'm gonna end up, I don't really want my lines too dark. So I'm actually gonna use, that is really not that sharp. Do I have another one over there? Oh, that's a new one. I don't want to use that one. Oh, and by the way, I went ahead and ordered me one of those the white brush tip on the Pitt artist pens, because last time we were doing that seashell. Really? Oh my god, it doesn't fit. I just bought this. It's a little sharpener. I guess it's meant for thin pencils. It was seriously probably only like 99 cents or something. I had to get me another Pitt artist pen. And it's cheaper to get them from Blix than it is to get it from Amazon, I think. If you're buying the singles. If you were to buy the sets, then it's sometimes cheaper to get them on Amazon than it is Blix. But I bought my single one color Pitt artist pen from Blix, and so I added on a pencil sharpener and a couple little things. Well, that pencil sharpener is not the greatest. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of draw this in real quick. I should have had this already done, but I was in a rush to try and get everything else done in this studio here that I had to move. I mean, I didn't have to move, but I definitely know that my daughter is super happy, and that makes me super happy. So, a lot of my time was taken up by doing the moving. That's the reason why you guys hadn't got the last live stream that we did, the finished um, flowers on the free member stuff, is because I was in the middle of moving unexpectedly. So I had to move her whole bedroom, had to move my whole bedroom, and if you're thinking, okay, well, that ain't too bad, I had to move it upstairs, and she had to move hers downstairs. And yeah, that's a lot of work. On top of it, she had a bunk bed, and she did not like having her bunk bed anymore. I mean, when she was younger, she loved it, but she's kind of gotten to that phase where she just wanted a normal, like it lowered, like down. And in her bunk bed, there was like no way to lower it. So I literally had to measure, take it outside. I had to cut it, all 4 legs, and then make sure it was smoothed down, and then lowered it for her that way. So I literally became a carpenter. And then now she loves her bed. So she's got a regular bed now. Just trying to use the extra pieces of wood to try and create like some shelves for me, and that didn't turn out very good at all. And I got no room. It's like, boy, Deborah is complaining today. Also, I need to remind myself to let you guys know, if you are new to my channel, I would love for you guys to subscribe. Definitely would love to have you on the channel, watching it grow. We've been growing very slowly, but we've been slowly growing. Any little progress I always see is great. Plus that, I love having new subscribers, new people to join. And anybody who needs help with anything or is just interested in watching, because you just never know what might happen. We try some different things. We've had things go wrong. We had, you know, experiments where it's like, whoa. We tried products that, and it was like those acrylic paints that I tried at one time with, I think it was like the little Lucky Chicken thing that I was doing. And I used these acrylic paints that I got from the Powerful Pack box. It's not Powerful Pack's brand or anything like that, but I think it was System 3 or something like that, acrylic paints. Oops. And I used them and literally mixed the white and the red together, and then sprayed them to make sure that they were just got enough water to be able to move them where I wanted them. And I noticed that the colors started separating, like the white pulled away from the red, and I mean, it totally like started to separate itself to where you had to mix it again. Unreal, never seen it before. We see crazy stuff on here. Also, if you could hit the like, definitely helps the channel grow. Share, leave a comment, any of those things definitely helps this channel grow. So, all right, so I got that. My little fish is now transferred, so he is on there. Might need to move him to the side here. So the first thing I wanted to start out with is that I want to work with the background. Now I may end up covering up some of it if I did, and once it's dry, I can always go back on top of it with the transfer paper and the little tracing just to make sure everything's okay or in its place. But I definitely wanted to try some things out. So I do have some different colors here. I know this reference photo that I got from Pixabay looks like it's kind of like in a tank or in an aquarium or somebody's tank when they took a picture of them. Just the background of it behind that rock kind of looks like, it's giving me tank kind of vibes. And I just want to change the background up. I don't want it to be exactly like the reference photo, but I do have the acrylic ink turquoise. I wanted to put some turquoise in there and possibly some, oh my god, this is green shade, but it's like that big long word. See it? It's like Pathos-leon. I wouldn't even be able, I can't even do it. Or we could put in some Persian blue hue. So we got that color. Maybe we'll do that one instead of this one. But this one here is more of a green shade, which it says green shade, which might be better to put with the turquoise. You never know unless you try. I also went ahead and got black just to add it if I needed to go darker, which I'm not for sure if I do. Let me get me a paint, or did I already do that? I already did that. Jeez, sit down, Deborah. Also, I noticed that my daughter's room is very uneven. So when I sat in my little rolling chair, and I literally started rolling backwards whenever I sat at the desk, and I'm like, holy cow, this is not gonna work. Like, I need to get my stool. So I got this stool out, and let's just say it just feels a little funny. Sometimes I end up spinning around, which my daughter was having fun when I was painting. She was spinning around everywhere. So I'm gonna put I'll put a few drops in there. Hopefully we don't have to add as much of the ink as we did on that other canvas. That was crazy. I was not happy, but it didn't, I didn't let it frustrate me at first, but it definitely frustrated me later whenever I seen how much ink that was left in my bottle the next day once it settled from me mixing it. I'm just going to go ahead and put some of these blues in there too. This is that Prussian blue. I'm going to put it in there. Let me see how dark it is. Oh yeah. Let's put that in there. Let's put a little bit of black. I did take out purple, but I don't think I want to add it. I think I want to set that aside. Okay, let's put black right here. Oh, I heard a dog bark. I hope Whiskey does not hear that. He will go nuts. Okay, and then you're going to hear a dog like barking his head off. All right, so let's go ahead and get me out a brush. This one here is a number 8. Okay, I'm moving things around. Hopefully that storm doesn't hit here when I'm doing my live stream. Good gosh, we're supposed to get horrible storms. I'm not looking forward to it. Where's my water? Here it is. Make sure to get your brush. I know how to talk English, I think. Maybe I don't. Your brush. Get your brush. You know what? We should have had it. Well, no. Maybe. Yes. Let's add some white. I'm like picturing it in my mind right now. Just a little bit, because I'm going to have to use some more. I got something else I want to show you guys. But, whew. Oh, there's a dog that's barking. Whiskey's probably going to go nuts. Maybe. Let's put some of our turquoise over on this side. So now we got 2 trays worth of turquoise. Come on, Deborah, words. And this is an art chat along with, you know, doing art. You guys are more than welcome to share maybe stuff that you've been doing. Oh, do I want to? I wonder if I should spray it first. Let's try it out. Oh yeah. I mean, this is actually doing really good. We don't quite, possibly don't have to spray it. Oh, I'm probably gonna make a mess, aren't I? I didn't put anything. underneath. Hold on. Looks like the other half of that paper came in handy. I foreseen a mess, which I'm totally good at doing, but you know, I'm trying my best not to. Usually I like to spray my canvas first, but I didn't do that, so. Now let's go from turquoise. We did a turquoise and a white. I'm not for sure how translucent this is either. I probably should have used like more of a filbert for this than a round. But when I'm doing this with a dry canvas, I'm able to kind of go around some of the areas like his eye and be able to do that without it bleeding into it, which is nice. So we're just going to try and go around some of his little fins here. I'm not expecting it to be exact or be completely perfect here, but I just want to be close. I'm using the brush to kind of get in there and then kind of come out. Okay, so it ain't too bad. Oh, totally looked the wrong way. I'm not for sure how this, I mean, so far this canvas is a very smooth canvas, so it doesn't have a lot of tooth on it. Now I definitely want to go darker around the fish. So what I'm going to do is I want to switch this brush out with more of a filbert. And I get some really wonky brushes here. I don't even know. I try and separate my brushes out to where I use some for ink and then I put others in places where I think it would be better for acrylic or watercolor. Here's a filbert. It's a pretty big one. It's another foamy one, but I forgot what it's made of. So the bristles are made out of something different. I don't know. This one here that I got, I absolutely hate it. And it's Artify, but they made like a horsehair brush. And I don't even know why I stuck it in with my ink. Probably the worst idea ever. But these brushes here shed like crazy. And they are just I hate them. Like, I seriously hate them. And why I put it in with my ink, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure my ink probably feels offended right now. Like, why do you give your good stuff over to the watercolor and the acrylics and the oils, but you give us, like, the crap stuff? I'm sorry. Probably hurting my ink brushes feelings, or my ink's feelings over here. So it looks like and this here just looks like if you don't blend it or don't do much with it, it definitely dries out. And it can be a little blotchy from the way it looks. Just be careful. Okay, we're going to transition this out, but first I want to put a little bit more turquoise, like just plain turquoise. Where is it? Right here. Because I kind of ran out of it. And it definitely soaked in really good right there. I like that. So you definitely want to work quicker. Here's some of this blue, the blues that I put in. Let's try them out. Oh, the dogs are going crazy over that fire truck or cop or whatever it is. Trying to get as close as the fish and get that. Well, these little rock areas I'm not too worried about because this you can make up any kind of shapes for the rock that you want. That looks pretty good. Now that top part there looks like it doesn't blend as good, so I'm going to see if I can't kind of take a wet brush. You'll see what happens if you just take a wet brush and just kind of, oops, may have done something to his lips there. I wonder if you can absorb that like watercolor. Hold on. A little bit, not much. What color is his lips? Okay, his lips are supposed to be purple. Let's see if we can't take some of our regular white. Oops. I'm gonna be careful with it, obviously. Because it wants to bleed. And it's probably gonna bleed into that white. So be a little bit careful there. I feel like I'm about ready to make a big mess. I'm very good at making messes though. Looks pretty good. Let's go over the other side and do kind of the same thing. That's really pretty. I don't know if it was just because of the water that I added. There was a little hair. I like to make it a little bit uneven. Let's do that. Let's just kind of dab this on there. Kind of a little bit of a new technique. Let's put some of that darker color. Just kind of make like maybe some little texture marks. Not for sure how it'll end up turning out, but we will see what it looks like. I'm going to throw in some black. Kind of went into the rock just a little bit. Didn't want to go that far. This brush holds a lot of water. Like a lot of water and a lot of ink. I mean, we may end up getting like a greenish tone in there. Not for sure. That looks kind of cool. I like those little splatters too. I wonder if I can make more of those. Well, yeah, let's try and make more of those. Just gotta put a lot on the brush in order to do it. I'm probably gonna get some speckles on him, but it'll be okay. I'm not too worried about it. He'll just be a speckly little fish. Ooh. I like that. I wonder if I can get, let me see. I don't really want to touch the rest of those because if those other little spots show up, I mean, they're not white spots, so that's a good thing. So it's not like I'm working with a fish that's got ick. So I don't think you don't want your fish covered in white spots. But these little black speckles everywhere kind of look kind of cool. I don't know. I just like it. But I wouldn't recommend doing white spots all over your fish because it will most likely give it the look of it having ick, which is not a good thing. Okay, making sure my brushes are all dried off. because I'm basically through with the painting part of it. We are going to move on. Let me try and get rid of some of those wet tissues, and I really would like this to dry. I'm a little bit afraid that it's going to like become a problem for me whenever working really close to his face with my Pitt artist pens. May end up using a hair dryer. To kind of dry him off the best I can. Now, I will be using one other thing, like I said, and I want to make sure that it's dry before I do that. I don't think I'll be able to make this trash can. Nope, didn't. Did not make it. Okay, let's put our inks. I want to keep our white. I don't know if I really want to do that now that I did this. Decisions. Maybe. Actually, I think about using it over here with the purple. I do not want to drink this. And I do not want to spill it. Okay, Chickadee's gonna watch it for me. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. I really want to get this area here, but let's see here. You could either do it two ways because we have quite a bit of rocks to do. I really don't want too much. Let's see here. The purples in the, let's see here. We're going to do with the purples. The purples in the anemone is right here. And there is black. We might end up using some of the purples in here. Let me see. Might be easier to cover a lot of area, especially on time-wise. Everything goes by so quickly. At least the time does. I know I got a darker purple in here. Where is it? I'm like half blind. Those are blue. That's blue. Blue. Where is my dark purple? You know, I'm not really seeing it. And I don't know why. Probably because I'm blind. Let's take this out. That's red. I don't know why, but I thought that I had a dark purple and I do not see it. That's not that dark. No. No. I can't remember if I didn't take out anything. So we're probably gonna have to paint it with the inks. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need my water back. It's always my luck. It's like, wow, one paper towel, two. We're probably gonna have to get more. I really would like a round brush without the point. Looks like I got a lot of points on those brushes. Maybe. No. I like one to be like this, except not as big. Like a round without a point, like a sharp point on it. Ugh, I don't want to use the horsehair one. Well, I'm probably not going to get that lucky. And that's just going to be too big. So we'll just use a filbert. Here is a filbert. This is a number 8. I kind of like this one. I kind of like this one here for my acrylics. So I'm just going to go around, just make some little designs is all I'm doing. I definitely want to be careful though when working around his little fin. I don't think these things actually have just one way of going neither. They're like all over the place. We have one there, might have one right there. I'm just kind of going in and kind of filling in some of these areas. Most likely I'm going to make it dark. I'll add some more. Oh my God, the wind is so bad outside. It is like blowing like crazy. I mean, it's scary. This is actually really a lot of fun, you guys. I am not gonna lie. This has actually been a lot of fun doing this. And I really like the canvas board. Like, seriously, you can work with ink. I haven't tried the Pitt artist pens on them yet. But so far, I'm absolutely loving this. This is so entertaining. Okay, so I got a lot of this in there. Let me move it. Let me move this a little bit further up for you guys. So, I mean, you may end up having to wait until it dries if you're wanting to keep those shapes without not making it like bleed into it and stuff. So I may end up, I'm just worried about that right color right there. If I were to blow dry it and then just kind of spread the paint a little bit, I'm not for sure. But I'm going to try holding it a little bit away, and I'm going to blow dry this real quick, and hopefully it will dry it up a little bit quicker, because definitely we want to get to those Pitt artist pins. So let me go ahead and take this. I'm going to move it over here, and hopefully this does not hurt your ears. Actually, let me go ahead and mute you guys for just a second so that way this doesn't hurt your ears. Right here. Okay, so after I blow dried this, um, there's still a couple little wet spots in here where I got the ink super, super thick. So just gonna have to be careful when working on this. This up here, I got it as much as I could, dry as much as I could. So we're just gonna go with it. So I'm gonna take some of my white, I'm gonna mix it in with my purple, maybe put a splash of dark in there. That way it's not too bright. Okay, and I want to come through and add some highlights to some of these. So I just want to see what happens. It's not that bright. Let me go back, making that a little bit brighter. I just want to see what it does. And it does definitely take the highlight, so it's like another shade. It's not the brightest that I can go. So definitely adding some character to it. If you're wondering what that white is, yeah, I need to go back and do that. I just was really curious on how that was actually going to look. So now I got black here, but I don't want it pitch black. I'd really like to add some more of our violet to it, our purple. That way it's not pitch black, but really more darker. Maybe it would be a good thing to do the highlights first. Okay, let me go back to my highlights real quick. Let me get the highlights in. Sometimes whenever you're doing this, you have to kind of experiment, test it out, and try and look ahead to what could happen. And that's exactly what I did. The way I did that was, okay, I can put this down, but when I put that black down, you may end up not be able to go back and find out exactly which ones you're at. Like, it'll cover it up. So you're going to have to be careful. That way you can still see where your anemone is, or your little sea plant here. I'm actually not the greatest on figuring out what things are called. But if you don't do this first and you put in that dark purple, it may blend in so well that you're like, where is all my things? And I'm not trying to be absolutely perfect. I'm kind of working a little bit more loose, not really looking on too much being so precise on everything. Like, if I wanted to do that, I do it usually on my main one, my main focal point. If I wanted to go super precise on something like this, then I probably would not do it on a live stream just because of how long it would take. Oh, Stephanie, hello. Sorry you're late. You're fine. Had infusion today and fell asleep when I got home. Oh, yeah. For some reason, I hope you're feeling better and everything, but for some reason today, I ended up taking me a 30-minute nap, which I normally try not to do. Like, I usually try and force myself to try and stay awake. And today, I just couldn't do it. I was here at the art table and I laid my head down and I started to fall asleep. And next thing you know, I kind of woke up a little bit and I was laying down like a kid at a desk. And I woke up and both my arms were completely numb. Like, I couldn't feel them. I was like, oh my God. I was like, maybe I should just go lay down in bed, take me a quick little nap. And then when I did, my puppy dog was like, oh, I want to go too. I want to take a nap. So today has just been, it's like one of those days. But I'm so glad that you're here. It's the dreary weather. It is. It has to be. There's just something. And then we're supposed to get strong storms over here. We're supposed to get tornadoes and hail, I mean, we already got strong wind. Um, it's like crazy out there. And you can really hear it from my daughter's room too. Since that's what I'm in. I moved from my art room to my daughter's room. And you can really hear the wind. The only reason why, even though I have to have like a smaller room, because her room was smaller than my studio, it's kind of nice because she's got all these windows. So now my whole studio is filled with sunlight. So that makes it nice. And it's the only room in the whole entire house that actually gets sunlight. Oh, so you're in Oklahoma. Yeah. We're here in Missouri. So whatever you're going to get, it's heading my way. So it's probably heading my way. I'm like super close to, like, we're on the four corners. So like Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, all borders touch, and we're right there. So we're called the four corners. So yeah, it is not fun. Yeah, you guys are supposed to get, from what I was looking on the weather, because I watch the weather, usually I watch the Weather Channel, but I actually found somebody on YouTube that does really, really good with the weather. I think it's like Max Velocity is his name. He's on YouTube, and he is really, really good with the weather. Lots of sunshine inspires creativity. It does. Probably everybody's probably thinking, wow, you're starting to come up with more bright and happy things instead of dark and like Halloween things. But my daughter, I had all my paintings hanging up in there, and she's like, she goes, you're not taking all your paintings down, are you? Oh, you watch Max too? Oh, awesome. Yep. He is really, really good. I enjoy watching him. Um, but yeah, my daughter was asking me, she's like, you're not taking down all your paintings. And I said, no. What? I said, which ones do you want to keep? Well, I like this one, this one, this one. She started pointing out all these different paintings that I had on the wall. And I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I said, how about we just keep them up on your room, like hanging up? And I said, I'll keep on hanging up more paintings in your room when I get done. And you can have like yourself a whole, what is it called? Like a little gallery, picture frames all over the wall. And she's like, oh, I love that. So that is what her room looks like. She's got a gallery style room. But yeah, that is so awesome that we actually watch the same thing. Yeah, he's really good though. And then sometimes his cat comes in there and sees him. He's like, oh, my cat's going nuts. Or whatever. I don't know why she's all over the place. But yeah, he's really good. You inspire your daughter. Yeah. She likes to draw. Sometimes, and it has to be like, she doesn't draw all the time, but it's just one of those things where she's got to be in the mindset to like, okay, I'm bored. I think I might draw. But she used to draw every day. Now she doesn't draw as much. She's been occupied by, it's still creative and it's still art related, I would say, but she likes making, I don't even know what it's called. It's what kids do nowadays. Uh, it's like, kind of like how we used to have dolls and we would dress them up, like Barbie dolls, and you dress them up and stuff. They got a thing where now you can have like a doll that's on, and it's like an anime, or not really anime, but it's like I call it a doll, and she can dress it up and everything, but on her phone, and she can post and make a video using what she made, like the little dolls of what she made and stylized, and she can post them online. And I guess it's like a thing where all the kids are doing it and posting their little creative, almost like dolls. I call them dolls. They look like Barbie dolls. Like you just dress them up and create different little avatars or whatever they are. And she is definitely doing really good with hers. Sometimes she shows me what she or like what she's made, or she'll ask me, "What outfit do you think I should, make this one wear?" And I'm like, "Okay." So, virtual creativity. Yes. That's exactly it. So, I'm like, "Well, I like that. Like I'm fine with that." And it's almost like she posts them and she gets a bunch of likes and everything and comes running to me, "Mom, somebody liked it or they like it on my thing." I'm like, "Okay, awesome." So she's been doing really good with that. And now I'm just, with this ink, I'm just kind of going and just kind of filling in all these little areas in between with the black and purple mixture. If I need to kind of go around some of these areas and kind of shape them out, like maybe just kind of make a shadow underneath the highlight of some of these, then I can do that. Kind of go around. Let's see here. Whew. I like the physicality of paint and paint pencils. Paper. Yeah, definitely. Like, this has been so nice to be able to use inks and use them with a brush, kind of like painting. I mean, it's kind of nice. But then if I go up and use the Faber Castell on the fish, I'm really kind of curious on what that's going to be like on this canvas board. Now, I have never done that, but I'm really hoping that I mean, it's a smooth canvas too. And it says that you can use acrylic paints on this. So if you were wanting to use acrylics, you could do it on this. And I like the other canvas, I do, because it's still smooth and everything for like, it's almost like a hot press, kind of canvas. That watercolor canvas by Fredrix. But I don't know. I'm really thinking that it may be just good, and I may just have to use it just for watercolor. Like if you're doing like watercolor, you could end up using, of course I have, used it for my acrylic paints, but I'm actually thinking about steering away from it for acrylic paints because of how much it absorbs, and it's so dry, and or not dry, but it doesn't it absorbs your water so quickly, like quicker than what it should. So I may be steering away from that and saving that for my watercolors. But this Fredrix canvas here, the mixed media one, I may end up switching it over to this because this is super, super nice so far. I mean, it's not like that other one. Kind of made that one a little weird. It's the point on this brush. You have to be very careful. I want that to be more rounded. You know, I really do think that my puppy is sitting outside. My kids are supposed to be watching him tonight. They take turns every week. I did not know they did that, but they designated who's going to watch my puppy while I live stream. And so last week, my son was like, "Oh, it's your turn," to my daughter. And so she did it last week. And so then I said, my son came down and I said, "Are you watching him? Well, you know, Whiskey, you know, whenever I'm doing my live stream?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's why I'm down here." I'm like, "Okay." So they've been taking turns on who's going to watch him. I mean, they don't have to do too much. I mean, he's starting to get a little older now. So, always fun to experiment. Lisa Lacry and Lacry Fine Art here on YouTube recommends Fredrix highly. Yeah, and you know, I mean, that's one reason why I bought those was because I have watched Lisa. I really do like her videos and everything. I kind of enjoy just her gossiping and talking. I really do enjoy it. But I was watching her and she did mention the Fredrix. And so I think that was the reason why I went ahead and bought them, is because I was like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure, you know, to try those out. I haven't tried them. And so I bought like a whole bunch of them, thinking, okay, this ought to be great. And then I finally started using them more recently, like taking them out instead of just using a canvas. And the more I kept on using them, the more, you know, I started to get the real feel of those canvases, and I started noticing that they're sucking up your water. And then compared to your canvas that doesn't have all that cotton in it, it absorbs quick. And if you try and use it for anything else, it's like, I mean, you could reactivate your acrylic inks on it. I mean, I'm not your acrylic inks, your acrylic painting. Like when I went to go varnish it, it started to smear. And that was using the Liquitex Basics acrylics. And I was thinking, wow, why did it do that? And then I noticed that anything permanent, no matter if it's dried for like 4 to 5 days, and you get it wet enough, it will reactivate. And I was just like, that is crazy. Like, I didn't think that it would, but it is basically a never-ending sponge. So I kind of understand why Fredrix would label that as being a watercolor canvas board and not necessarily used for our acrylics paints, because it doesn't say also used with acrylic paints on it. And you kind of wonder why it doesn't list that. That's why. Because it's just... And it doesn't really work that well with airbrushing neither. Because when you airbrush on it, I started airbrushing on it and noticed that I had a lot of white kind of showing through. And I thought, wow, why am I having like this white kind of side angle view of it? And that was just because it was absorbing that much and still needed, it could absorb more, like more water. So I was a little in shock over that. And then after that, I was like, okay, maybe I need to back away from these for using them, even with my acrylic paintings, because I really don't want to have that happen. And then I was kind of watching, noticing too that when Lockery does it, she uses a lot of those canvas boards, those watercolor Fredrix canvas boards, whenever she's doing her live streams. But when she's working on something that's um, like something that she's going to sell, or like she's gonna, for a actual customer, she's working on an actual canvas rather than the watercolor canvas boards. So I'm like thinking that she's just kind of going through them just to have something to paint on to teach a lesson for, rather than trying to use it for a customer. So I don't know. I mean, those are just my thoughts. This is what I'm thinking. So I think they're still great canvas boards. I mean, they really are. I just think I'm going to use them for watercolor. Let's see here. I think they're better for watercolor and color pencil. Color pencil, I probably wouldn't on the watercolor canvas board. Like that, no, it's like, I would say not. This, maybe. I think you could use color pencil on this, but I don't know. It's still a little rough. Maybe just wing beforehand. You could. You probably could do that. But you're putting in, let's see here. If you're down to like, that's the only canvas boards that you have, then I would do it. But they are pretty, let's say, I mean, you could do that. But it always makes me feel like if I do that to something that is a good brand and it's actually made for something, it's a really good canvas, it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I'm like, do I have another option before I go to that? If that's your only option, like that's the only ones you've got, then I would definitely consider doing something like that, or just switching over to something a little different. But these Fredrix ones here, the mixed media canvas board, watercolor, acrylic, alcohol ink, and see it says airbrush too. The other one doesn't do that. When you spray an airbrush on it, like with that, it should have already covered it by like just a couple little rounds. I mean, I could sit there and just hold the thing. It didn't drip, which was kind of nice, but it was just absorbing the whole puddle of like ink. I was just pouring ink. This is any and other Aquarius based media. So I mean, this here would probably work. I don't know if it would work for color pencils. You could probably put color pencil on it. I don't know. That is definitely something interesting. I don't know if I want to switch this over and be like, okay, let's try this out. I want to add some of this color back in. I wonder if I can. I think we could also put an extra highlight in there, actually. What time is it? 8:20. We really need to try at least a little bit of our Pitt artist pens, but I want to see this real quick. I'm not going to do the rock. At least not for this, not for tonight. So if you're really wanting to do a highlight, you can add some white to it here. This is actually a lot of fun. I am having way too much fun with this. It's probably why it's taking me forever. I don't want to cover up everything, but I'm just making just random little marks on some of these. See here. I wonder if this is going to be like the disappearing ink or not. That is really kind of cool. Kind of like that. So we're going to leave that. Let's go ahead and let's put the ink down. I know I can do this. I keep on wanting to pick up the ink. I'm having way too much fun with these brushes. And I really would like to start working on our fish just to kind of see. I mean, I don't care if we could just get the eye done or maybe get some of the purple in there. Definitely want to work on the eye. So let's go for that. I just want to see. I've been so curious on how this is going to handle with the Pitt artist pens. Okay, so this is, here we go. This is a hard word. Danthrian blue. I don't know why they make it like that. Like, why couldn't you just, like, make something simple for me? Okay, and we're going to start, we're going to use it, but I really, don't I have like a more richer blue? Yeah, it's probably not going to be that dark though. Cobalt blue. It's a really pretty blue. Yeah. I'm going to grab that and maybe some of the, maybe phthalo blue. So we're taking two blues and we're going to use this for some of his eye. So we're going to put some of this in there. Let's use some of this blue just to kind of give it more of a bluish kind of tint. Let's go over that. Want to darken it just a little bit. We could put a little bit more of this darker blue in there. And then let's take our black. Let's go around the eye. Darken it down just a little bit more. Okay, then we got a white ring kind of around it, but it's, then we're going into a purple. Of course, the purples, we'll just use these for now. And I'm kind of curious too on if we can take some of the white and put that back in, not just with my Pitt artist pens, but maybe with the actual acrylic ink. We shall see. We can use both. We'll try it on both. Here's my brand new white. Well, that kind of shows up. Yeah. And let's just kind of put some little dots in here. It's got a little bit of highlight going on. Little dots. He's got some darker areas. Let me clean that off. Which don't really have too dark of a blue. What do we got? We got blue grays. Dark indigo. Ooh, that might be good. Let's put a little bit of dark indigo in here. Just kind of speckling it in areas that I want a little bit darker. Now we said his eye was, we used the white in there, but I want to see if I can make it just a tad bit white. I'm just going to get the end of my brush with the white and try and put some even brighter white back in. There we go. So that wasn't too bad. And the colors are really turning out really nicely. So let's go ahead and now around his eye is going to be more of the orange tone. And then going into purple. Let's see what kind of oranges I got here. So exciting to pull out all these oranges. This is like a dark orange. Yellows, orange. I'm going to start off by using more of my yellow orange kind of color. What is this one? This one is dark chrome yellow. Let's use it. And there's some darker areas in there too, so I'm not too worried about the pencil. Let's put that in there because he's got some wrinkles in his eye. Okay, this one here is orange glaze. So I'm taking more of a darker type of orange in here. Okay, let's go a little bit more. What is this one? Terracotta. Now that might be more toward like really shadowy. Yeah, that's good. We're going to put that right in any of those darker areas that we're needing. Probably gonna have to switch it over. This here is like super bright pumpkin orange. Now I don't know if I really need, we could stick a little bit in there, but I probably don't need that much. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna use some of my grays for a shadow. Warm gray would be more blue. I don't know if I want to use that. Let's try some cold grays. That's still warm. Well, it wouldn't be blue. What am I thinking? Hold on. I don't know if I want to use, well, we could use, I don't really want to go orange warm. You know what? Let's do it. That's cold gray. Now I can't find my warm gray. When I say that, then it goes away. This may be too dark though. Let's do a little bit lighter. Always start light and then go darker if you need to. But start out light. Okay, let me go a little bit darker. I hate these soft brushes though. These soft brushes, you have to be very, very gentle if you're trying to make lines with these because they bend really, really easily. And you have to have a gentle hand. There we go. Now he's got some wrinkles in his eyes. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put some more of the orange kind of coming down here. I'm starting out lighter, so we're starting out with a dark chrome. Goes to like right in there and then comes down. It's like got a different color. Right through there. And if you want to, instead of making like, you can always make like little dots like this. That way you got some different textures in there, and then you can add some of that purple in. So if you see that, really good. Like make some dots in there. This is actually a lot of fun. I am actually having so much fun with this. I'm gonna add some different colors. This is gonna make okay. Now there is a little bit of a light shadow going on underneath his eye here. I'm gonna have to be careful with that. Hold on. Let's make sure to soften that out just a little bit. There we go. I want a little bit lighter. That's a cold gray. That's a soft brush. It don't matter. Do I have a lighter? I should. Warm gray. Here we go. Maybe? Maybe not. Probably going to see this like really, really well. This shadow. I'm going to come in here with more of my yellow and I'm going to go on top of it. Just kind of blend out the edges. And the one thing that's nice about this too is I just now remembered is that using this you can really blend quite a few times and you don't have to worry about the paper crumbling or rolling up on you. You can seriously blend a lot. Okay, and then we need a pink or pinkish purple, like a magenta, maybe. What is this one? Pink Matter? Maddie Purple Pink. Never heard of that one. That is close. And then we have some light purple here. A lilac. Ooh, let's try it. Probably won't be able to see this lilac in it, but we are going to try it anyway. Need some. See if I can't put some white in there and lighten it up just a little bit. Let me see. He does have some darker. He's got a weird chin, by the way. Really weird. It's like a purple, but I don't want to go too dark right all up at front. Let's take a white. And let's take another white. So I'm just making some little highlights. In some of these areas around his mouth. One of these areas looks like it's kind of darker. Just like right in here. I'm going to start off with a lilac. And then we'll work our way getting it a little bit darker at a time. I'd rather start lighter than darker all at once. I'm kind of making some little dots, some little texture marks in here also. If I need to go a little darker, then I can. Let's go right around the edge here. Just slightly different, like darker tone. Oh. You know what? I just now noticed. Right in here, I think I covered up his eye with the green. Here's a good way to find out if we can bring his eye back to life here. I think it goes right here. So it should have been like right there. Trying to bring his eye back to life. Because silly me just covered over it with some turquoise. There, he's got his eyeball back. Oh, you guys are underneath it. Oh my goodness. Winds are really picking up under tornado watch. Oh my gosh. It's coming. You're going to see me go, ah. That's it. Heck, I already had a fire and we know what that looks like. It looks like fire in the rear and you'll look at me in the front of the house and I'll be like, it looked like I was taking out bags of stuff. Like, it seriously looked like I was burglarizing my own house. That's what it looked like, with cops and fire departments surrounding my house. And here I am with all my bags and purses and camera or whatever I had. My Yorkies are barking up a storm due to the winds howling. Oh, poor babies. Aw. Mine doesn't really bark over the wind. Oh, I can tell you what. If I take my hand and I knock, and you would think that I have a bunch of people coming over my house knocking. No, no one really comes over to my house. I have no family around or anything like that. But if I knock, and it doesn't matter, I had this camera up here and I knocked on the wall, bam, 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 just to see if it was like sturdy. And he came alive just like that. Rawr, 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 started barking, and he started just ran to the window as quick as he can. And then we're up on the second story and he's looking out like, what is it? What is it? Who's banging? And I'm like, that was me. And it doesn't matter what I do. I even banged something in my sink. Like I tapped on one of those scrub brushes and I went bum bum bum. And next thing you know, he was up and ready to go, barking, barking, barking. I'm like, what is with you and knocking? Like, I don't get it. Like, he doesn't like the barks. Oh my gosh, though. I'm not ready for the storms. We're supposed to get so many of them for like, what, 5 days, 4 days worth? Well, we get storms today. It's Tuesday. Storms again on Wednesday. Storms, well, it's Wednesday going into Thursday morning. Then we get storms on Friday. And then rain on Saturday, rain on Sunday. I need to start building me a boat. I think it's time for a boat. All right, so now I can go over here and kind of work on his little eye. Let's go ahead and I put some deep red in there. I just tossed it in there, to be honest. And then I'm going to take some orange. I'm going to go on top of that. And then let's take some orange glaze. There. That looks better. Oh, I don't know if you believe in this. Sometimes I'm like wondering if I should even say anything. But I could swear my house, like I told my husband, I was like, I think our house is haunted. And he doesn't say anything to me. And I'm like, me and my daughter and everything keep on saying, we think the house is haunted. And we made fun of him because he had put up some of the decorations like in the house, and he hung up a mirror in the living room, and then he hung and made up this mirror that he absolutely loved and stuck it in the entryway when you walk in. And so I never thought anything of it. And my daughter's brother, it would be her half brother, came over and visited her. And when he did, he's like, oh my gosh, I just seen a shadow like thing. And I'm like, what? I said, so you've seen like a shadow? I always think it's like me because my eyes are so bad. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of something. And he's like, no. He says, I've only seen that in a couple places. He goes, and now I see it at your house. He goes, your house is haunted. And then he looked over and he's like, oh my gosh, you have a portal. I'm like, what? And I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you have a mirror in the living room that is facing another mirror in the entry room, which causes a whole... I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh, blame it on my husband. He's the one who did it. So anyways, we just kind of joke around. Sometimes we think we hear, see something, but it's just a thing, we just don't really pay mind to anything. And I was recording a video for you guys. And in the intro, I don't know if you guys have ever saw it or even paid attention to it, but there's like this little ball of light, looks like kind of like a dust orb, like a dust, but it's like a little round circle, and you can tell that it goes like this and comes around, goes by my head, and then takes off and goes this way. And I'm like, oh, I think I caught an orb in my camera. So I told my son and my daughter, and they don't really think much of it. Yeah. Well, since we switched rooms, the first day that me and my daughter had switched rooms, my daughter came up to me. She's like, oh my God. And just out of nowhere, she goes, something just pulled on my shorts. Take one of those mirrors down. I know, right? I was like, they're heavy. My husband, one of the mirrors is literally, he said it's like 100-year-old piece of furniture. The furniture was falling apart. We took the mirror out of the dresser drawer, put the two doors together, which are mirrors, and then hung it up on the wall as a decoration, which looks kind of cool, but yeah, I never really thought of that. So then my daughter, when we moved out of my art room, she got her shorts tugged on, like pulled. And she goes, "Oh my God, something just pulled on my shorts." And I said, "Oh, it's probably," and I just made fun of her. I go, "Oh, it's probably the ghost. It didn't like your bikers," because she was wearing those little biker shorts. It was thinking those are way too short and it's trying to pull them down for you, like saying, "You need to make these a little longer. They're too short." So then she came out and she had like sweatpants on. After that, she goes, "Well, there, I made the spirit happy." So then after that, I didn't think much of it because sometimes we get a tap, like maybe like our pants pulled. And I keep on thinking that maybe it's my hamster that came back and just like pulled on my pant leg or something. But it was yesterday. It was like this, or it was like the second day of her being in her room. And she hung this pink cowboy hat on her TV. And I went and it was time to go to bed. So I closed the blinds and I said to my dog and my cat, because I do it all the time, I said, "It's night time. Got to close the blinds," because I love looking out the window seat and looking out the window. And I close one window blind and go, "Night time," and I pull down each one of them. And then I make my way to the living room area and I pull down the blinds. And the cat's usually watching and the dog, because they're just like, "No, we don't want to go to bed." And as I turned from the living room, I looked directly into my daughter's room, which used to be my studio, and I'm walking toward her room, and her cap, her cowboy hat that was hanging on the corner of her TV, I seen it go like this, like, whoa, and it flew off toward the middle of the room. There's no way you could do that. Like, if I knocked it off, it would hit the TV stand, then bounce to the floor, or maybe it would fall, but it would fall close to the TV stand. This flew off her TV stand about, I would say at least 4 feet, like toward the middle of the room. And I was like, holy cow, I can't believe I seen it with my own eyes for like the first time. I'm like thinking, I finally seen it. And as I'm walking toward her room, I'm looking at her TV to see if it was wobbling. The TV was perfectly straight. And then I seen a shadow. And I was like, huh? And I seen Rachel pick up the hat. She was standing right there. She picked up her hat. And I looked and I go, "Whoa, Rachel." I said, "You see your hat?" I said, "Whoa." I said, "Rachel, did you see your hat?" And next thing you know, I see her, the shadow of Rachel holding her hat. And she goes, and she just dropped it. And she goes, "Mom, why'd you have to say something like that?" She goes, "I never would have thought about it. That hat should have never flew all the way to the foot of my feet." She goes, "There's no way it should go that far." I said, "I thought you knew." She's like, "No, I didn't think about it." She goes, "Until I heard you say, 'Whoa, look at your hat.'" And she goes, "You never say that." And then I looked on how far away the TV was. So I started laughing at her, and she was just like, "That's it." She goes, "I don't want to sleep in there tonight." I said, "You want me to switch me spots and I go back to my art room?" She goes, "No, that was too much work." I said, I go, "What were you doing?" She goes, "I was doing like a little dance like this." And she said, and the floor in there is like, I think it's like concrete. So it's not like a slab, so it doesn't rock anything. It's not wooden like the upper floor. And so she goes, "I was doing a little dance." And I said, "Oh, the ghost was probably thinking maybe you need to wear your hat so that way you can dance with your little cowboy hat." They have a friendly poltergeist. I almost said poker guys. Yes, I think we do. Because it's never hurt me or anything like that. But I think it's kind of at this. I told her, I said, "Oh, he just wanted, or whoever it was, wanted you to wear your cowboy hat while you danced." So then after that, she's like, "No, how about we hang up the hat somewhere else?" I'm like, "Okay." So yeah, I told her, I said, "You never know." I said, "Who knows? It could be, my dad, because my dad passed away." I said, maybe it's my dad. You never know." I said, "But the only problem is that my dad used to never, ever like to scare anybody. Like, he used to get on to my brother because my brother used to purposely try and turn off the lights to try and scare me, and he would get in trouble because my dad was like, "You don't ever scare people. Like, you don't scare your sister, you don't do that." And then my dad would get on to him for it. So it's like, I don't know. Dad, I don't think would do that, but he would want her to wear a cowboy hat. So, like, put it on. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know if my husband's big on having a ghost in the house. He's probably thinking, you're just making it up. No. Especially whenever I finally got to actually see something. I never did see anything before, like positive. You know, you could be your eyes playing tricks on you. I could have swore I seen, certain things, but that was 100% legit, and my daughter was there to witness it along with me. So that made it kind of nice too, that I wasn't the only one seeing it. Now, when making these little scales, if you guys are wondering, I'm just kind of drawing some lines in and out. I'm not really doing too much here. See? Just some little lines because we're doing a layering process. So when I layer, then I can go in and add some darks back in. So it's not really, you don't have to do too much. I'm going to kind of put this in real quick though, because I'd really like to start on trying to get maybe a little bit of now. I don't think I'm going to do a I mean, I don't know if I should do this like finishing it. I know we're definitely experimenting with this, and you guys are probably way faster than me because I definitely have a lot to do. I don't know. We could end up putting this maybe a speed painting, like showing the finished thing or something. Just putting some dark right along the top. How far does that go? Let me see. Goes all the way to where the fin ends. And then we could go a little bit darker on the top. Oops. Now I would like to have a little bit more of a darker color in there. Let's put, I think I already used, well no, there's some in there. I'm going to come back in and lighten this. I wanted a shade darker just on top here where it kind of blends in. Just don't want it too dark. We could do possibly white. Might be too light though. But yeah, I would just layer with him. So if you guys are working at home and you guys are just kind of following along, I would just layer. Have some fun with them. At least you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. If you guys had any questions and you're following along, you can always ask them. But he is a lot of fun to do, really. So if you haven't tried these out, I would say definitely give it a try. It is a lot of fun. And you can actually layer really good. You can, you know, this board will take a lot more than any of the papers would take when using these. So if you have any problems with having to wait until your paper dries in order to add another layer because you don't want to rip your paper, that does happen. You don't really have to worry too much with this at all. Like, you can layer as much as you want and you don't have to worry about any of your paper ripping or rolling up or anything. So we got a little bit of dark. Oh, you're slower than a tortoise. I don't know. I thought I was the only one that was slow. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, I can't. I feel bad. It's like I'm trying to like do this in one go and I'm like, all right, I'm a little slow here. Then I'm wondering if I need to do the finished one. That flower though, working with that, holy cow. Literally it took me at least, it would have took me, if I was doing this on a live stream, those flowers, I probably would have done part 3 in order to get it completely done. Like, it was a lot of hours put into that, and it was something that shouldn't have taken that long. To be honest with you, I was just having to layer so much because of the canvas on how many layers I had to do. I had to layer a lot more than what I would have had to done if I was working on an actual canvas. So definitely a lot more. I wonder if it'll take blue. Let's try baby blue. We got 1 more minute and then it hits the time frame. Ooh, that looks kind of pretty. So put some blue in there, and then you could even, if it's too bright of a blue, like it's looking a little bit maybe too blue and you still want to stick with that purple kind of theme. Just trying to get it in areas that I really like. Okay. Then I would just take a, we could do a lighter blue. Here's even a lighter blue. And just kind of go over it just a little bit. Soften a little bit of it out. If it's too dark, then use your white. And you can always use like the white in like some of these little patches just to kind of bring out some of the texture back out. I wouldn't. So make your little squiggles and lines, like texture marks, back in. Oh my God, I love this. Having so much fun. Okay, so I will end up, because I am having a lot of fun doing this. The other flowers, I wasn't having so much fun with the canvas. I'm going to end up doing this and finishing it. I'll post it over on the Patreon free for all free members on that one, on this one here. So we'll do it that way. So if I don't get done and you guys are wanting to see the finished, and it's going to be like more of a speed painting kind of thing, if you're wanting to watch that and see it get finished, then just go over and become a free member. Doesn't cost you guys anything to be a free member. and you guys can see that finished piece whenever I get done with it. And I'll kind of go over it with a little voiceover. So I'll also be doing that with the flowers, and the flowers, I'll show you that before we leave because it is already that time. So this one here is finally done, and here it is with the flowers. Oh, I guess I could show you this way. So those are the flowers, and it is finally finished, thank goodness. But yeah, took me a whole lot longer than expected. Oh, whiskey's barking. Oh boy, don't know why. So yeah, this one here, I'll end up finishing it off. It'll be over on the free members, so go check that out. Link is below in the description. Sign up as free. Anything over that, then you get something free. I was gonna say for Patreons, the $6 tier and higher, I went ahead and gave you guys one of this. You're probably like, I can't see anything. Okay, and what this is I made you guys a stencil. And I gave several different sizes of these stencils. So these here is what you can take, and if you're wanting to make one of those bouquet kind of looks, like an out of focus with the circles, I went ahead and sent you guys these to try out, to where you guys can create. Let me do this real quick. Let's see here. I've never tried it with ink though. And usually you tape them down. But maybe you guys, instead of using an airbrush, you guys could do use these stencils instead. That was probably not a good idea. And then let's try not to get so much of the ink on there. Usually probably use this with acrylic paints. Probably not paper. Hopefully it didn't absorb. Let's take that off. So anyways, but yeah, I give you guys stencils. That was horrible. I got really scared. Yeah, probably don't want to do that on that. Don't. Ran out of paper now. I gotta be careful with my fish. But yeah, you can use these. And it should be pretty easy to clean off. I did make them from a like plastic to where you guys can easily clean them off. I'm gonna try that again. I just don't want to get him on my little fish because I really do like him. Let's try this. You probably want to use a sponge too. Let's try my purple again. I never tried this with ink, so I was just kind of curious if you could. It's probably way too runny. Yeah, a little bit runny with ink. But for your acrylic paints, I would definitely try these out. These would be pretty cool. Let me try them out. Let me do this one more time. Hold on. I never think anything about like it's okay. We can do this. Sure does dry pretty quick. Okay. Let's take acrylic inks. Oh, and you're welcome, Stephanie. I'm so glad you joined, and hopefully storms don't get as bad as what we thought. Hopefully they go by, go around, nothing happens, because definitely I I don't feel like hunkering down. But yeah, there we go. So there's our little bokeh effect. But you guys got some different sizes in there that I gave you. So you should be able to make your own bokeh effect without using an airbrush. Or a bouquet. I don't know why I always say that. Bouquet. But yeah. So, and then you'll get like the little smaller ones. So you can make some little smaller little circles and do that just by using a stencil. Because that's what I use is a stencil. But I use it with an airbrush. But you guys can get the same effect if you use a sponge. A sponge would be way better. My daughter took all my sponges, so, and she uses them for her makeup. So that's why I don't have any sponges in the art room today. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and join up for a free member. Doesn't cost you nothing, and you'll be able to see the fish, and I will have the flower posted tomorrow. So I guess until next time, I'll see you all on next Tuesday. Stay safe, Stephanie. I can't wait to see you on next Tuesday. So bye, you guys.